And we're live. Welcome to Fight Thoughts. Thanks for joining tonight. And yeah, obviously, we're going to be talking about Fury versus White. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Jamie. I run Boxing Life. And yeah, so it's good to. I was meant to actually have a guest on tonight, but unfortunately, they had to cancel. But I've got a little whiskey to join me and keep me through this. And hopefully get some thoughts from you guys too. That would be good to see. So the way I'm going to kind of work this, so if there's any questions you guys have, feel free to comment below. I'm going to hopefully this has a bit of replay value, so you guys can see my breakdown and stuff like that. And I'll kind of give you my keys to the victory for the fight this weekend, and just kind of generally talk about what's going to be going on. And yeah, so I guess it's probably best just to get right into it. So if you just give me one sec, I am just going to share my screen. So obviously at Wembley Stadium, huge fight for both guys in Britain. It took bloody long enough to happen as well. With all the negotiations, it was a bit of a mess, if I'm being honest with you, but it got over the line, and that's the main thing, I guess. And I know a couple of guys that are going to it, so they're looking forward to it. But I've heard rumors about like maybe the tickets aren't going to be sold out as much, but be interesting to see. And obviously the undercard is pretty underwhelming. I'm not going to lie. Um, just look at it there. I think the Consage, I can't don't know how you pronounce his name, and Romero, that's been called off. Um, So I don't know if they'll manage to bring in a replacement for that. It'll be interesting to see. And you've got Lowen Ball and then Tommy Fury versus Bosiansky. I think that's how you say his name. Um, and just to give you a bit more detail, this is the full undercard on the night of Wembley. Um, yeah, it's pretty underwhelming. Not going to lie, I'm not really uh, excited by it. David Adelaide, he's good up and coming heavyweight. Obviously, I quite like the look at him. And I think obviously people will tune in to watch Tommy Fury as well. But it's pretty underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Um, Make sure to comment below. Let me know if there's a fight which you think's actually gonna stand out. I'd love to know. But yeah, it's just yeah. I don't know what maybe Frank Warren was thinking. You'd think you try and get guys like maybe like Yard on this. And some of his other bigger names on the card, and it's just yeah, it's pretty underwhelming. But I guess the main attraction, of course, is obviously Tyson Fury. Maybe it was the bloody purse bid meant they couldn't get these other guys on the show. Because I think like they're saying that they're wanting like 1.5 million buys for this show. So, but then when you look at an undercard like that, I can't really see it happening. So yeah, we'll find out, and we'll definitely see. And that leads on to my So I was just gonna go over kind of both guys here. So and their stats. Obviously both 33. I think Dillian White's 34 now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's 34. They both had kind of similar fights, same kind of wins as well. Obviously, Tyson Fury has been in bigger events, bigger fights than Dillian White's probably ever been in. And obviously, Dillian White's had two pretty bad knockout losses against obviously Anthony Joshua and then um, Povetkin in the first match and or the first bout, sorry. And yeah, they were pretty horrendous knockouts. He's obviously been down before. Joseph Parker got him down as well. And yeah, he's got the suspect chin. That's something I'm sure Fury will want to test out in this fight. Um, and I'll get onto that in a second. Kind of got similar knockouts as well, if you look at it. 22 for Fury, 19 for Whyte. Um, Obviously, Fury's got out Wilder twice, but uh, Dillian Whyte's had some good wins too. He's got some. Joseph Parker. I think that was a very good win. Joseph Parker, I actually rate him quite highly as a fighter. Um, he's a good fighter, and both orthodox. The reach as well is in favor of Fury. Obviously, he's just such a huge guy. And obviously Dillian Whyte, he's like the bigger. He's usually like the bigger guy. Against a lot of heavyweights. Obviously, he's fought guys like Maurice Wack and Hellenius. I think that's how you say their names. But he put on a pretty good performance against big, tall guys, similar height to kind of Fury. So it's not like I don't think he'll struggle, but it'll be interesting to see how he copes with the size once again. Because they were quite underwhelming fights when he did fight the guys with who were quite big in height and reach. And I guess that kind of leads on to my keys to victory and what both guys kind of need to do to win. If you guys are watching, comment below as well and let me know your thoughts as well as I go along. And then I'll get back to you guys at the very end and can have a little debate on who we think is going to win. So we'll start off with Whyte. I think the key punch for him, and everyone talks about it, is that left hook. He's got the knockout power there. It's deadly. We all know it. If you follow, I think I posted on my YouTube page as well of Dillian Whyte's kind of like brutal left hook knockouts. It's on my Instagram as well if you want to check that out. And it's deadly. I love the way he throws it. In particular, I really like the Joseph Parker one, and he got on him right in the chin. Nice, crisp left hook. And somehow Joseph Parker managed to get up for it. I have no idea how. But yeah, Dillian Whyte is, he needs to try and find a way to set that up. And usually, just from watching a lot of his fights before this, he'll usually throw it right after the right hand, or he'll kind of time guys walking into it. And that's how he usually likes to set it up. And naturally, obviously, you guys will know if you box, if you throw the right hand, usually, you're going to follow up with that left hook after. And in most cases, well, not most cases, but depending on the situation in front of you. And that's something Dillian Whyte can probably get on Fury, but I'll touch on my next point in a sec regarding the left hook and how you can do that. But another thing against the Povetkin in the second fight as well, it was just interesting, how he got that knockout blow eventually to take him out, and he kind of threw like a gazelle hook of some sorts. It closed the distance quickly, and maybe he needs something like that against Fury. If you look through like boxing history, like Floyd Patterson, Rocky Marciano, guys like that, smaller in height and reach as well, great left hooks. They would use it to close the distance really quickly against bigger guys usually, and it was quite nice to see Whyte use a move like that. He's obviously studies the sweet science, and maybe that's something he can maybe try out against Fury. Especially as Fury, because of Fury's height, and also just he's quite unpredictable at times. It can be quite hard to read him, and maybe something like that, just out the blow, something explosive near the start, could completely catch Fury off guard. And yeah, I think that's a weapon he needs to try and use against Fury on Saturday. So kind of goes into my next point. He needs to attack the body early. What I was really interested by was I rewatched some of the Fury versus Wilder 3, and Fury did a tremendous, Wilder did a tremendous job in those opening rounds. I actually did a video on it, like after the fight, whenever that was, like a few weeks after it, and just to show you the improvements Wilder made. But one of the things that I thought was really fascinating was how hesitant he made Fury in the third fight compared to the second fight. And there was some improvements in Wilder's game, and some of the things that made Fury quite hesitant was Wilder going to the body. He was doing a beautiful 1-2 to Fury's body, and Fury was backing up. Now, maybe that was part of Fury's game plan. We'll need to see. However, I think that's definitely a target for Dillian Whyte on Saturday. I think we saw, if you watch the Whack fight or the Hellenius fight, that was something he did very well. He got up on the inside and he would batter the body with a left and a right hook, or vice versa, either way. And it would back them up on the ropes, these guys. And I think I'll get into my next point in a second, how you can do that. But, you know, it definitely, he needs to slow down Fury in this fight. Personally, I think Fury's he's got a good, he's got a good engine on him. He's got good legs, as much as obviously his physique doesn't look the best. Whyte needs to target that body to slow him down so he can set up the punches, like the left hooks and his right hand. And I think that's a valuable key for Whyte going into this fight. And you just watch the Hellenius or the Maurice Whack fight, and even, other fights as well. Whyte, he does go to the body, and it works for him. It definitely works. It mixes up his attack, and I think, in the early rounds, that's something he should aim to do. And that kind of leads on to my next point for Whyte. He needs to use his jab. I think he's always been a bit wild, a bit unpredictable at times. And he doesn't when he was coming up, he didn't really do himself any favor, but he's really improved that jab. I really like it. He kind of does an up jab now, kind of from a lower position. And he's very quick especially in the opening rounds. He's very quick. He snaps it out, and it works for him. And the thing about Whyte, he likes to be a fighter that makes it messy. He allows his jab to get himself on the inside to throw those body shots, as an example. And I feel like that's a great area for Whyte to try and exploit in this fight. Use the jab with Fury. I know I'm going to get onto Fury's points in a sec, but this is how he needs to get up on the inside, and maybe, just throwing feints before, throwing a few more feints as well. It's obviously easier said than done. I get that, but he's got, he'll still have semi-decent reach. He'll need to step into his jab, and then that's when he needs to throw those, get up on the inside and throw those hooks to the body, especially in the opening rounds. The issue I have around Whyte, though, is that, I feel if he goes maybe if he goes too intense at the start, like, we saw Wilder did. I think he has a better engine than Wilder, obviously, but if he gets too tired, we've seen Whyte kind of drift off as the fight goes on, especially in like 12-round fights. So yeah, those are kind of I think the key things I'd like to see Whyte use going into this fight. Whether he does or not, we'll find out. Maybe Fury will stop him from being able to use these. But yeah, I think it could be a interesting night if Whyte can really, get his game plan point on. And that leads on to Mr. Tyson Fury. So when I say check him out, I mean very similar to what he kind of did in, his last two fights. Also, guys, make sure to comment below if you're watching, or comment in the chat, and I'll get back to you at the end. I'll answer as many as I can. But yeah, getting back onto my point, I think we kind of saw Fury do that in the Wilder fight. He kind of came out and he was just checking Wilder out, more or less. He wasn't, he wasn't trying to apply that Kronk pressure right from the beginning. He wanted to see how Wilder would approach it. And I very much think this will be the case on Saturday. And Fury has this thing where if you've watched Fury throughout the years, you'll know he has this thing where he like sprints out to center ring. Um, I think whether it's a psychological thing or what, I don't know, but he likes to take the center ring very quickly, and I think that's what you'll probably do on Saturday. No doubt, you'll come out, maybe throw the jab, check him out, throw the feint, see how White reacts to it. And I think that's what he just needs to do. He needs to check out, see what White does the first couple of rounds. Is he going to use the jab? Is he going to be messy? Is he going to try fighting the inside? I think that's going to be really important for Fury to kind of just work him out in those opening rounds. And that can lead on to my next point. And he needs to use the jab and the feints. Now, he kind of abandoned it at one point throughout that last fight with Wilder. And if you watch the fight, you'll remember Sugar Hill screaming the hell at Tyson Fury to use the jab, fucking use the jab, whatever. And as soon as Fury started throwing that jab, it worked for him. The great thing about Fury as well, he throws it in so many different ways. He'll do the flick jab, he'll go to the body, he'll do lots of double jabs, and then he can just be pretty straight on with his shots too. He's tremendous with his jab, and obviously he has the longer reach as well. He needs to take advantage of that, and that's what he's done throughout his career. He's always taken advantage of that jab, and I think, if I'm being honest, I feel White will struggle at times getting past that jab. As much as I'm saying White needs to use his, I feel White really needs to risk it a bit more than Fury does. And then obviously the other thing about Fury, I feel, if you've ever watched my breakdown video on him, I kind of mention how he loves, he's a tremendous feinter. He's always feinting. He's always got, he's always, head feints, foot feints, using his arms for feints. He's very unpredictable to gauge and know what he's going to throw next. And obviously, we've seen Fury, like to fight in the back for over many years, and he's kind of changed his style for the Wilder fights. But I don't think he'll resort back to that. But I just think he needs to, just cause a bit of hesitation for White. They've obviously sparred, so he will kind of get an idea that he does like to do that. But I just think it's if he can just use his jab with feints to really just cause hesitation, I think that will help him in the long run. And that kind of gets on to my last point. And guys, if you're watching, please comment in the chat. I'll try and get back to you. And yeah, I'll continue the chat. So yeah, and then he needs to continue using that Kronk style. Like I said, I don't think Fury will resort back to going on the back foot or anything like that. I think he's going to step up the pressure eventually. And like I said, Fury just needs to go out in those opening couple of rounds and see how White's going to approach it. Personally, I think White will be a bit more aggressive. He always is. He does like to take his time. Sometimes we saw in the Povetkin fight, he was a little bit more careful. But I just feel like, he will probably try and be a bit more aggressive. And I think the best way for Fury to counteract that is to be aggressive himself, use that Kronk style, those sharp, crisp shots down the middle, the 1-2s. It worked tremendously well against Wilder, and especially the second fight. We all know what happened there. And in the third fight, when he resorted, but like in the after he got up after his knockdowns, that's where we really saw Tyson Fury come into it and make the most of it. And yeah, he just needs to apply the pressure, put it on Dillian Whyte, in my opinion. And I can't really see. I see Whyte fading pretty. I can see him fading towards the later rounds, and that's definitely a thing. I don't think White can handle that pressure. White's usually the guy that makes it messy, fights on the inside, leans on guys, makes it hard for you to fight against them. But he's going to be up against a guy that loves to do that. He the thing with Fury, he always does that. He always makes it pretty messy himself, and uses his body weight. Now, an interesting thing talking about the body weight and what they'll come in. I think obviously White is a much bigger guy than like the likes of Wilder, so it's not as easy to kind of throw around Dillian White, so to speak. But yeah, and then obviously Fury is apparently going to come in a bit lighter, which is very interesting. So that's an interesting aspect to think. But I think it's more, so Fury can last longer, so that he can then cronk him up basically in the later rounds and get him out of there. And I guess, guys, that kind of leads on to my prediction and what I think is going to happen. I don't know if you've probably guessed already what I'm going to say, but I definitely think that Fury's going to win this. I can't see White. I can see White causing issues for Fury in the fight. I just can't see him possibly winning. It's really hard for me to see. I think Fury is definitely in a strong position. This is built for him to win. I feel. I hope we get a good fight. I hope it is as good as the Fury versus Wilder 3. I think it could be quite messy at times as well, and we'll just got to see what happens on Saturday. I guess it'll be interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, guys, comment your questions below. I know there's a few of you guys watching, and yeah. So who we got? Popper Mall, lol, 1.5 million buys. Did I say something wrong, man? I don't know. I can't remember what I said. Or do you? Oh, sorry. You probably mean, yeah, lol. It's gonna make that many buys. I highly doubt it. I can't see it happening. I think just the thing is the undercard is the issue for me. I can't. The undercard is shit. So I just can't see it getting anywhere near that. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. Frank Warren is on another planet. But that's his tip. I feel like the whole Warren thing, like, look, I respect like everything he's done for like British boxing and stuff, but oh my god, the guy sometimes, I know he's a promoter. He talks as much shit as the likes of Eddie Hearn, but bloody hell, yeah, I can't really. I'm not a big fan of him, if I'm being honest with you. Jared Mack. If Fury comes to box, then Fury all night long. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, like I said, I think he just needs to. He needs, like I said, he needs to check him out in the opening rounds. He needs to use his jab with the feints, see how White reacts, and I guess maybe that White's going to come and try and get him. I just have a feeling White is the kind of guy that will try and get to Fury's body. He knows he needs to beat the reach of Fury, so he's going to have to get in the inside to get him there. So if he can tire him out and just box, yeah, I think just use his jab and put the pressure on him. I think, yeah, definitely going to win. Jared, what are you saying again? I see it going the same way as time Fury fought against. Yeah, probably. Maybe. To be fair, I think White is a bit better than Chisora was back then. And as well, they've kind of changed their styles, I guess. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I I think most people are thinking Tyson Fury is going to win this. If you're watching this and you think Dillian White's going to win, please comment in the chat. I'd love to hear why you think he's going to win. um, Jared, again, man, you're keeping me on this stream. What are you saying? It will all depend on the weigh-in. If Fury comes in heavy, it'll be a very exciting fight. It'll be a slugfight. Yeah, I could as well. That's another possibility. Uh, Fury's. I can't see him just coming in and box. I can see him maybe in the opening rounds being a bit more cautious, just by watching that last Wilder fight and the way Wilder was going to the body. I really think that's definitely an area White needs to target, because if you watch that fight, Fury looked very uncomfortable with those body shots at times, especially. I know it was obviously the fear of that huge right hand of Wilder involved in it, but it's not like Dillian White is not got any power. He can definitely knock guys out. He can bang, and Fury just needs to be a bit careful. We don't know how good his chin is. After going through 3 fights with bloody Wilder, probably the biggest knockout artist in the sport. And he's, yes, he's managed to get back up. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. Yeah, I hope maybe for Fury's sake, his chin's actually not too bad. But we'll see. Guys, make sure to comment in the chat. Like I said, any questions on the fight or anything else boxing. If you've got any requests, like video requests or anything, let me know about that as well. You'd like me to do in the future, just comment in the chat. Okay, who we got? Piz up, hose down. Like the name, man. You think Tyson really going to retire after this bout? I was talking to I don't know if you watched my April fight thoughts, any of you guys. I had Josh from the Good Boxing Podcast, and we were kind of talking about this. I feel like Tyson Fury does talk a lot of shit. We all know that. Like it will help sell the fight. I think that was Josh's point. Was Dillian White wasn't helping with selling the fight. Didn't turn up to the press conference. The first press conference, and you'd think, I think the whole point of us wanting to see, well, a lot of people wanted to see this, was the fact, these two guys could go back and forth. Obviously, it's not kind of ended up like that. It's more been Dillian White and Tyson Fury being quite respectful of each other. If you watch the press conference yesterday, but I can't. It'd be such a waste if Fury was to retire. Especially, we need to see that Joshua Fury fight, regardless if it's a couple years down the line and there's no belt in the line or what. It has to happen, and it would just be really disappointing if that never happened. I really would be disappointed if he was to retire. Maybe he will. He's done everything he's had to do. And I would respect him if he did end up retiring. At the end of the day, but I just think it would be a bit of a waste, for his legacy, if anything. And I think people would always go at him about it as well. They would say, oh, you were actually scared of Joshua. Obviously he's not, but like a lot of people and casuals would say that, and maybe that would get to him. So I really hope not, man. But we'll find out after the fight, I guess. But if I'm being honest, I think it's more just a selling point. Pop 'em all. Sorry, man. Just getting back to you again. Let me just have a wee drink of my whiskey. So Tyson can't lean on White like he did to Wilder, so I'm hesitant to give it to Fury without question. I'm not entirely confident White will win, but I believe his chances are high than the odds out now. Yes, the odds are not the greatest for White at the moment. If you look at the bookies, It'll be interesting to see what happens there in terms of leaning on White. Like, yeah, like I said, I think White can tire. We've seen him in fights towards in the last 6 rounds, he starts to tire. And Tyson Fury has a better engine than White, in my opinion. And that's the moment to strike. That's the moment when Fury needs to make it messy, maybe. But, maybe I'm underestimating White for this. Maybe he can, stick it on Fury. We'll see. We've got Daniel Campo. Thanks for joining, man. What version of Fury has a better chance? Pressure fighter or boxer? I think there's no point going back to the old boxer Tyson Fury. Obviously, he can resort to it. I think the fact he has Sugar Hill still on his team, I think, as his head trainer, they're going to continue the Kronk style. They're going to try and put the pressure on. They might be a bit cautious at first, like the Wilder 3 fight. Go on the back foot a little bit, see what White comes out with, and then bang, go for the kill. And obviously, Fury got Wilder down first. It wasn't like if Wilder knocked down Fury first, and that's because he was checking him out. So it'll be interesting. But I think it's probably best for Fury to continue that kind of pressure, Kronk style. He looks pretty good, in my opinion, fighting that way. He's huge. He's a huge man. And I think he can, if he gets hurt or anything, he can resort back to being that boxer. But yeah, I think continuing that kind of Kronk pressure style is the way to go. You guys comment your questions. If there's anyone new here, or if you're still in the chat, just keep commenting, guys. I'm going to be here for at least another 20 minutes, half an hour. And as well, let me know if you've got any requests for videos you'd like me to do in the future. I would definitely consider it. I'll let you know. Okay, we've got Dr. Wolf tickets. Like the name, man. There are some psychological angles that might be significant. Fury's fighting in the UK, the media back in his case, the Kinahan stuff. Yeah, his dad will be there. Yeah, I don't think it will affect him that much. It could do. Interestingly, no one really. Comment below if you watch the press conference. Let me know if they mentioned any of the stuff about MTK and Daniel Kinahan at the press conference that just happened. I can't remember hearing anything about it. Obviously, he does have those links with him, but I don't think it will affect him, if I'm being honest. His dad doesn't help as well. I think, you saw at the face-off, during the whole press conference, I only saw like the last end of it. It seemed very respectful. And then obviously Tyson Fury's John Fury comes in blagging his mouth as usual. The thing is with like John Fury, like I get why he's so involved. He obviously wants his son to win. He's obviously got that fighter heart in him and stuff like that. And it's a strange one. Yeah, I think sometimes he gets too involved, and same with his entourage. But it was good to see Fury kind of. I know we all like to see the drama and stuff happen at press conferences, and it might have boosted maybe the pay-per-view sales or whatnot. But it's all nonsense at the end of the day, Like I'm more about the sweet science than seeing shit like that. But yeah, you never know. You never know. I don't think it's going to affect it, but yeah, it'll be. But that whole Kinahan stuff, yeah, that will be, maybe something will happen between now and then. Jared Mack again, man. Thanks for commenting. You should cover Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. I think it's a 50-50 fight, and Katie is on the slide. Yes, I I personally, I'm probably a little bit biased. I think I I'm a big Katie Taylor fan. I think she's a tremendous fighter. Obviously, winning the gold medal at the Olympics and then her pro career to date. She's obviously had a couple of, dodgy kind of decisions, but overall, she's always been very consistent. She's got good movement. With Serrano, she, she can punch. She's obviously, she's a good fighter. Like this is the thing, it's a 50-50, as you say. And I'm really looking forward to that fight. I'll probably will do something on it. It won't be huge. I just did my Canelo versus Bivol tactical breakdown, and that took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to take me. I'm Because you end up watching fights, and then basically the way I make my videos is I watch I watch fights. I'm writing notes on what they do, and then I try and compile it all together, and it can be quite difficult for those tactical overview videos. But I do enjoy them. It's good fun making them, and obviously you guys seem to be enjoying it so far, which is nice to see. But yeah, I'll try and maybe do something with it. Uh, yeah, but at the moment for that fight, I'm probably leaning more towards Katie Taylor. I think she'll just use her boxing ability to win the fight. And guys, yeah, keep the comments coming, guys, and I will try and get through you all. Sorry, the comments kind of went all over the place there. I was like, what the hell is happening? Dr. Wolf Tickets. I love that name, man. I don't know how you came up with that. But it's cool. I still think, yeah, it's good to hear that you still think that. I think it's hard to make a case for White for a lot of people, but look, you never know. Anything can happen. It's heavyweight boxing as well, man. Anything can happen. Uh, Boxing waffle. Tommy Shades of GG. I think you're referring to his dad calling Tommy Fury. You like compared him to like he's similar to Triple G, which I personally I cannot see for the life of me. Like I can't. Yeah, I don't know where he gets that from. He's GGG. Maybe the jab is quite similar at times, but I don't know what John Fury was on when he was saying about Triple G being similar to Tommy Fury. But John Fury says a lot of things, doesn't he? Okay, what do we got next? Fies hose down. I don't know how to say this, but Fies hose down. I think that's how you say it, man. What do you think of a Tyson versus Francis Ngannou? Well, I think obviously Tyson Fury absolutely destroys Francis Ngannou if it's a boxing fight. If it was MMA, Tyson Fury absolutely kills. Ngannou kills Tyson Fury. As much as Tyson Fury is huge, I think there was obviously chat around that happening, and I'm not really too sure about it personally. Maybe Tyson Fury after he retires on Saturday will maybe take up that fight as a little extra payday. Uh, but who knows? Funnier things have happened. Floyd Mayweather fighting Logan Paul is one of them. Crazy shit like that happens all the time. Boxing waffle. It's going to be a Fury late knockout. I can see White getting gassed or getting gassed. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like I said, he usually does start to gas towards the later rounds, and I very much think the same is going to happen. I think he does have like a better gas tank than like someone like Wilder, so he will be able to last a bit longer. And he's also fundamentally just a better boxer. He's not as all over the place. He can be at times, but yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning towards that as well. I think he's probably gonna take him out late, right? Kind of same as Wilder, 9 to 12. That's what I'm kind of thinking. And yeah, guys, make sure to comment below if you think White's going to win. I'd love to hear your reasoning. I'm still getting through these comments, but I'll get through them all. I'm going to be here on at least another 20 minutes, half an hour, so I'll be getting through all these comments. So yeah, just keep them coming. Boxing Waffle again. People forgetting White has been 1 year inactive. Yeah, that's true. And what a fight to come back into. Yeah, so I'd love to see how long Fury was out before he fought Wilder. Sorry, I'm just checking this. So you obviously had the second fight. Let's have a look. So for the second fight with Wilder, it was the 22nd of February 2020, and then he fought him in October, and so it wasn't a year, but yeah. Whereas White, who did he last fight? Povetkin. Yeah, he lost. He fought Povetkin in Gibraltar, I think, of all places. So yeah, I think he'll be. Fight some guys fight once a year anyway, but yeah, I think there will probably be a bit of ring rust for him. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he is. Don Chain 13. If you like White, bet White to win by knockout. He's not winning decision. Yeah, man. I can't really see White getting the decision no matter what happens. Let's say it does go 12 rounds. I can't see it happening. Fury is just too good. He's going to have to knock him out, in my opinion. Like I said, can he do something a bit different? I like that in the Povetkin fight where he threw that gazelle hook out of nowhere to kind of take Povetkin. He'd already hurt him before. He was going to take him out anyway, but it was just something a bit different. And like I was saying in the breakdown at the start of this video, think about the likes of like Floyd Patterson, even Mike Tyson, guys like that. It works for that smaller guy going up against the taller guy using that punch, and that could just be something you could throw out of nowhere. Or even just to, the other good thing about using like the gazelle jab or the gazelle punch is it actually helps you get up in the inside. Even like Duran used it now and again. It's a really good punch to use, and maybe the thing is, can White do something like that all the time? Probably not. He has to throw it once, and hopefully it lands, doesn't he? So, yeah. Maybe you will win a good. I wonder like how much you would win if you were to do that. With like £100 or something. I'd love to know. Who we got next? We've got Patrick Leonard. Thanks for joining, man. I know it's not anything to do with Fury versus White, but do you reckon Spence versus Crawford is next? Crawford a free agent just now, so now is the best chance for it to happen. I don't think it's going to happen next, personally. I think I wouldn't be surprised if there's issues with the negotiation. I said it in like after the Spence Ugas fight in my post-fight video that I think Spence deserves the bigger pay, probably, if this is what it's coming down to. You'd like to think 60-40 would be fair, considering Spence has all the belts. I think Crawford's point is he's already a 3-weight world champion. He's become undisputed already. I can understand his point of view in terms of wanting a more 50-50 split, but at the end of the day, Crawford's come up to the welterweight division, and Spence is the man in the division. He was before, I think, Crawford even had moved up. I think he had won 2 belts by the time Crawford had moved up. Maybe I'm wrong there. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't. I just have a feeling it's not going to happen. I think it should happen, and I think maybe if they can get if they get that fight over the line, wow, that is a super fight. Absolutely huge, and I really hope it does happen, Patrick. Man, it will because it will be huge. Uh, keep your questions coming, guys. I'm just getting through them. I know there's quite a lot, but I will get through as many as I can. Vaiso's down. That's what I'm saying it now. What do you think of John Fury trying to run Mayor? What? I've not heard that. I hope that's not the case. I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe the gypsy community. Is there a lot of gypsy communities around Manchester? I imagine there must be. Yeah, fair enough. I'm sure if you want to spend his time doing that, he can. But yeah, that's quite funny. Dr. Wolf tickets. I did think Teofimo Lopez dad helped his son to lose. Yeah, man. He told his dad, I'm not like, I think his dad's also helped him along the way. I think he's not a, he's not a, I don't want to say he is a bad trainer in the sense after you hear the instructions he was giving his son in the Cambosis fight. Watch my if you get the chance, watch my breakdown of the fight of Teofimo versus Cambosis. I do a kind of post fight kind of analysis and break down the techniques and stuff they use. It was that was a tremendous performance from Cambosis as well. You have to give him credit. Teofimo Lopez totally lost his cool on the lead up to that fight, and I think the success got to his head. Unfortunately, I like him as a fighter. I think he can still do very well in the sport, but bloody hell, his dad does not help. But I don't think they did bring in the Cuban trainer to help out with defense, and I can't Rubio, that's his name. Rubio, tremendous trainer, and yeah, he clearly did not help either. But is this because his dad's getting in the way of things? There was chat about Teofimo potentially going with Team Canelo. Oh, yeah, it's an interesting one. Yeah, I hope he kind of changes trainer eventually. The whole father-son dynamic can be a difficult one. It can work really well for some people, and sometimes it just ends in disaster. And I think we need to maybe see one more fight. If it doesn't look good for Teo, maybe he needs to cut ties. And fantasy fight Marku versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Who am I thinking of the wrong Marku? I'm checking. Let me know, man, in the comments, in the chat, and I'll get back to you. Boxing Waffle. Oh, yeah, so you're Albanian. Okay, sorry. Okay, okay. I'm Albanian. I'm Albanian, and I have a gut feeling that Mark can pull it off against Ben. He's having problems against Chris Van before round two. I think part of the issue with him having issues with Chris Van Heerden, I think that's his second name. He's obviously a southpaw. I believe that was the first southpaw he's faced. Southpaws are tricky guys. They're just they just are. I think overall, if you've ever faced a southpaw, you'll know they're just as an orthodox fighter myself. I quite like facing them. Some guys hate it. Some guys love it. I actually really enjoy fighting a southpaw when I'm like sparring and stuff. It's just I I think it's because I do so much fucking analysis and watch so many fights that I'm so intrigued by the whole orthodox southpaw matchup that I enjoy it. But then that's probably why Ben was struggling in terms of Marku. Sorry, getting back onto that point, man. Yeah, I think Marku good. I think he's a good, solid fighter. He does have some good boxing skills. Um, I think it would be an interesting fight to see. At the moment, I'd probably still lean towards Ben. I think he's just as much as people criticize the opponents of Ben, he seems to be continuing to improve fight after fight, and he's proving that knockout power too. I'm not saying Marco doesn't have knockout power, but I don't know. There's some kind of X factor about Ben at the moment. He's not the finished article anyway. I'm not saying like he's going to be the next welterweight star and win world titles at all, but I do think he has a good chance really competing with the top guys eventually, but will probably fall short in the end. Sorry, I'll get back up to the top for where I found that. Patrick Leonard again, thanks man. Will you be having Taylor versus Serrano and Shakur Valdez on either screen? Probably, if I'm being honest, I'll probably watch them both. I believe I think Shakur versus Valdez is first because that's over in Vegas. I believe. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. And Taylor Serrano is obviously New York, which is that's like I think about 4 a.m., 5 a.m. here when it's probably around the fight time. So I'll get up for it. I'll definitely watch the Taylor Serrano and depending what time the Shakur Valdez fight, because I want to watch that because obviously I did that breakdown and I want to see what happens because I'm interested to see if Valdez can pull it out the bag or if it'll just be a usual Shakur Stevenson domination. Okay, we've got Jimbo Mob. Where are you from? I stumbled on your channel. I'm from Scotland, man. I've got the whiskey with me tonight. Cheers, man. Thanks for joining. All right, next. Got Eli Harris. I enjoy your videos. First time on your live stream. Keep up the good work. Love and respect from New Jersey, I think, when you say NJ. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm going to be I want to do a lot more of these, and I'm going to be hopefully bringing on some really cool guests. I was meant to have someone on tonight. I don't want to reveal who it was, but I had a really cool guest for tonight. It probably would have been a slightly different format, but yeah, I'll definitely do more of these, Eli, and hopefully you can join me and join in the chat because I do quite enjoy them. I used to watch quite a lot of live streams, so I thought, why not kind of engage with you guys and get your thoughts on the fights too. Give Nguado and Derek Chisora a warm up. I don't get what you mean, man, by that, but let me know. Jimbo Mob, what are your favorite boxers right now? Hard to say. I'm not really. I do quite like Shakur Stevenson. I'm not going to lie. I think he's just a tremendous counterpuncher, boxer. He's not. I'm a sweet science guy. I'm not a big, fan of the sluggers and stuff like that, I guess. But I think he's just he looks like he can be a real star in the future. I really like the look of him. Some other guys I like off the top of my head. I do quite like watching Canelo. I have to admit, he's an exciting fighter. Big fan of Caleb Plant. Yeah, I quite like him. And trying to think of someone else. Usyk as well. Tremendous. I just love watching him, the way he uses his jab, that front hand, how he can just keep it going all night long is just tremendous. I really enjoy, watching Usyk. He's a great fighter. And yeah, guys, keep your comments coming. I'll probably stay on another. I keep saying 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then more questions keep coming. So if you're on the stream, just keep chatting. I'll stay on another half an hour at most. Okay. Fies hose down again, man. Who do you think Tyson has a better chance of beating, Joshua or Usyk? 100% Joshua. I think he beats him. I think it's still a competitive fight, but yeah, I think he's just a better fighter than Joshua, and I think Joshua would struggle. I just have a feeling he'd struggle against the size of Fury, whereas Usyk, that's a fight I'd like to see. And I had Josh on the channel a couple of weeks ago, and we were he actually mentioned this. It would just be a fascinating prospect seeing Usyk and Tyson Fury in a ring together. I'm at like the movement of Usyk. You know, we obviously saw him do it against Joshua, but it would just be fascinating to see how Usyk would handle someone like a Fury, like the size difference. Could Fury even handle Usyk's movement? Could you know? I can't see it personally. I think Fury's still such a big guy that he would probably end up using his body weight and stuff like that. But my God, I think that'd be a very interesting fight. But as like a boxing fan, a British boxing fan, I'd like to probably see the Tyson Fury versus Joshua fight more, just because of the buzz it would just create around boxing over here anyway, and in the world. I think comment in the chat. Let me know which you would prefer. Boxing Waffle Man, can't White couldn't spark David Allen. Just let that sink in. Yeah, that's pretty true. I'm not gonna lie. That is, yeah, he. That's very true. I'm not gonna even argue against that. Eli Harris again. Thanks, man, for the comment. Fury is going to knock White spark out. Kronk Jim and Fury's dangerous combination. Much respect, Fury. Enjoy your retirement. Yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, I think he is going to use that Kronk style. He's not going to revert back to being that boxer. And I think you'll check him out the opening rounds, and then as White starts to push himself to try and get into the fight, he'll tire, and that's when Fury will knock him out. That's what I think, anyway. Boxing Waffle again. Thanks, man. Mike Tyson punched up some TikTok guy. Yeah, I did. Before I came on, I actually saw the video of that happening, and it's it's a shame. There's that quote about like how Mike Tyson says around like people don't know respect in the real world, like outside social media anymore. And the guy was clearly annoying him, bickering him on the plane. But then does that give Mike Tyson, the right to turn around and like pretty much beat the shit out of the guy? I didn't see, it looked like he was like over the seat. Like he turned around in the seat and he was like reaching to like punch him. And the guy was like kind of holding himself back. But it's like, there's so many people like that now that just don't give a fuck about anyone's feelings. They do it for their own, promotion or whatnot. And like, if anything, I'm happy Mike Tyson smacked him back. It'll stop him from fucking doing stuff like that in the future. But it does make me sad because like it first came up in my notification on my phone saying Mike Tyson attacks passenger, and like that's not the case. Like he was getting like harassed by the guy, clearly, from what I saw anyway. But you still can't be punching people just because they annoy you. We've got D Nuts. Thoughts on D's? He's the young. I think he's a lightweight, isn't he? I think that's who you're talking about. Let's check. And what's his name again? What's his first name? Sorry, it's really irritating me. Comment in the chat. Let me know his first name. That'd be great. I think I know the guy you're talking about, though. Yeah, he looks good. Prediction Valdez Stevenson. You can check out my tactical overview video and prediction as well. And yeah, you can get my prediction there. You can probably guess what I'm thinking if you've been on the stream for a while. Yeah, I don't want to go watch the video. You'll see what I think. Boxing Waffle again, man. Thanks. David Hay says White is going to win. There's no chance now. Yeah. As soon as David Hay makes a prediction on anything, just don't believe him. Make sure you bet your money on the other fighter. and you'll be fine. Jimbo Mob again, thanks man for commenting. Spence gave Porter and Mikey an even per split, and the Bud fight is the biggest as far as legacy and money. Yeah, I agree. Uh, I need to check that out. I reckon Spence would have had a bigger purse than both of them. Um, Obviously, Spence only had one belt, I believe, at the time for the Porter fight. The Mikey fight, that's just, Mikey obviously was a three-weight world champion, I think, by that point, but he was coming up in weight to beat the guy who many people didn't think, Mikey was going to win at all, I think. Well, I didn't anyway. And he looked like a shell of himself, really. Mikey Garcia's just, ever since then, he got the payday and just kind of fell off. And yeah, like I said, I think Bud definitely deserves, overall, he does deserve like a split, but yeah, it's an interesting one. What will actually happen there? Sorry, I got that all right. Has anyone ever told you you look like Logan Paul? No, they've not, man. You're the first person to ever say something like that. I don't know if it's maybe the fucking huge nose from broken nose from boxing or the beard, and I don't have blonde hair, so uh, it's not really a comparison I want people to say. But if that's what people think, all right. All right, Patrick Leonard again. Will you be paying for the BT box office this weekend or just going somewhere to watch it? In terms of the full card, it's one of the worst that's been it, in my opinion. Yeah, man. I was saying that right at the beginning of the stream. It was horrendous. The undercard is just awful. I really, yeah, it's just I'm not really happy, but not that I'm not happy. It's just like it's not worth your money. And I think it's a bit more expensive than usual. It's gone up to like £24 in the UK or whatnot. But I'm actually away that weekend, but I will be going out to watch it. Hopefully somewhere where I'm going. Hopefully I can find it. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not paying for it. As much as I want to see Fury versus White, I don't want to see any of the other fights. I'm not very interested. But you never know. There might sometimes you'll often find the cards that look absolutely shit. They end up being tremendous. That happens often. So yeah, you never know. You never know. But I wouldn't be too confident. Take it that way. Um, for those that are left, guys, make sure to keep commenting. I'll keep answering. I'm almost done. Been on for like an hour now, I believe. Yeah. So, hi Jimbo again. I'm from the UK. Good evening, my fellow Brit. Cheers, man. From Scotland. Let me know where you're from. We've got Jimbo again. I was a big Alan fan. One of my one of my lower, one of my lower moments as a box. He he was a weird one. He had this like weird cult following in the UK where people just loved him, and it's just because like he's just like your general like British lad. He doesn't really give a fuck what he says. Um and yeah, it's you know, I watched some of his fights. I'm not, and was quite interested in them just because he kind of made a bit of a buzz, but he's not like a fighter I'll probably remember in 10 years' time. Dr. Wolf Tickets, thanks, man. Appreciate all the comments from you tonight, and hopefully you come on again. And thanks for engaging in the chat. I really appreciate it, dude. What else are you saying, Jimbo? Funnily enough, people actually call me Jimbo. um, Fury should fight the winner of Usyk AJ for undisputed. He needs to do it for the legacy. Yes, 100% that has to happen. I want that to happen. Everyone wants that to happen, and let's hope it does happen. But we'll just need to wait and see. If Fury does actually retire, then yeah, it'd be disappointing. We've got Mohammed. I can't even Just gibberish. I'll call you Mohammed. Mohammed? There you go. Prediction for Tank Rolly. Probably gonna roll with Tank, man. I think Tank just is a lot better. He's probably going to knock Rolly out, let's be honest. I know Rolly is a big puncher, but from what I've seen, Tank's just overall a better fighter, just as a whole. Okay. Jimbo again, man. Oh, you're from London. Sorry. Cheers, man. I just got that there. Sorry. Okay, Jimbo. David Haight is clearly trolling the Furies at this point. He picks everyone to defeat Fury. Do you agree with Hay being banned? I don't. You know what? Sometimes like his punditry is actually not too bad. He gives some good points, and yeah, I think it could be worse, couldn't it? Yeah, it can be a bit frustrating. He probably, let's be honest, he probably doesn't like them, and that's probably why he always picks against them. But he always tries to come across as if he's like being totally genuine with his prediction when it's a Fury fight. But you're just, yeah, you need to take it with a pinch of salt, man, don't you? Mohammed, are you going to make a how Javante Davis trains video? Yeah, that is my plan. Eventually, I think I've got a huge list. I've got this. I'll maybe if I do a stream again, I'll show you my book. Basically, I write down every request I get. Um, Obviously, I don't like if it's a double request, I won't keep doing it. But so I have a list of like videos to do. I'm in here. I'm in this for the long run. I'm not. I'm gonna take my time with it. I will get round to these videos eventually, but I think at the moment I will get round to it eventually, if that makes you happy. But it's not the priority right now. I've got some cool videos lined up, which I'm working on. So hopefully, but I'll get those done, and then hopefully I can maybe get around to that in the summer at some point. Uh, Jimbo Mob, not boxing related, but what's your favorite TV shows? Um, oh, good question. I kind of stopped watching a lot of TV shows, if I'm being honest with you. I've kind of, I'll watch like the odd like Netflix, like you know, murder documentary now and again. I quite like those, just the way they tell the stories and stuff. I've been watching like anime recently, of all things. I'm watching the final season of Attack on Titan. If you've ever watched that before, if you like your anime, recommend it. And I'm trying to think of a good show. I quite like one show I did like. One of my favorite shows of all time is obviously Sopranos and Breaking Bad. They're just classics for most people. Uh, Jimbo, what do you think about Canelo versus Bivol? I just did a video today, man. If you want to check that out, give you my tactical overview and my prediction. So yeah, make sure to go check that out, man. Appreciate it. And we've got yes, please do. Yeah, man. I'll get around to it eventually. Like I said, will probably be the summer, I imagine, but I will do it. And guys, I'm probably going to finish up soon. So if you've got any last questions, I'll stay on another 10 minutes. But if none more come in, I will head off. But yeah, so comment in the chat if you've got any last questions, if you've got any requests, anything like that, random, I will answer them. And then I'll probably head in 10 minutes, like I said. Jimbo, you're keeping this stream alive, man. I appreciate it. You're right. As far as British pundits, it could be far, far worse than hate. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to think of a pundit I don't really obviously the Sky Sports guys. I'm not a big fan of them. I think they can be really biased at times. Matthew Macklin can drive me absolutely nuts. with some of the things he says during fights. But then sometimes he says some very good things. It's bizarre. Um, but the production stuff in Sky is very good, I have to admit. That's why a lot of people tune into it. But sometimes the pundits on there are just horrendous. I really like one I like is Andy Lee. I think he's one of the best pundits. And he really he, he's obviously trained with the likes of Emmanuel Stewart and all that, and he just knows what he's talking about. The guy's, obviously a world champion, but you could tell he fought at a very high level, Uh, and I love anime. Have you seen Parasite, Tokyo Ghoul, and the new Digimon films? No, I've not. I've seen Parasite. I'm not seen Tokyo Ghoul, but I think I've watched like the first episode. And I couldn't get into it. But maybe I'll give it another chance, man. But Parasite was good from what I remember. I watched that a couple of years ago. That was a really good anime, I have to admit. Good. Mohammed, prediction for Haney versus Cambosis. Still to make my mind up, if I'm being honest. I think kind of going off both guys, I was so impressed with Cambosis' performance against Teofimo. Yes, Teofimo was wild and whatnot, but he kind of lost his cool and kind of, everything went out the window for in that fight. But overall, Cambosis, I was really impressed by him. I didn't give him a chance really going into that fight. But Haney's going to be a tough challenge. It really is. I'm going to do another tactical overview video. But right now, if I'm being honest, I'm probably slightly leaning towards Cambosis, but I might change my mind. Mohammed, and also can you make a breakdown on Haney, Cambosis, and Tank and Rolly if you have the time? Are you? I guess yeah. Well, I'll do like I said, I'll do the Haney Cambosis tactical overview the start of next month probably. I'll get on to that, and I don't think I'll have time to do the Tank Rolly, but I might actually do something like this instead. I might do a stream, just to get some time to do it. What's your thoughts on Eubank Jr. and his link up with Roy Jones? I hope it goes well because he's an entertaining fighter. See, I'm not. Yeah, I think he's got a good hook on him. He brings a fight, Eubank Jr. I'm not. I've always said this from the beginning. I'm not really sure about the whole link up. Sorry, link up with Roy Jones. I just think stylistically, it doesn't match up. Two completely different fighters. Roy Jones tries to big up Eubank Jr. as if he is like Roy Jones, but not many guys can fight like Roy Jones. In fact, hardly any can. And especially, yes, he's got Eubank has the explosiveness, but for me, he just isn't. He isn't the guy, for me. Jimbo again. Would you rather? Not even going to say that, man, but don't want to get demonetized. Or get this blocked. But I've got a girlfriend, man. So neither of them. Let me know who you would though. I'd love to hear. You should do a post-fight show on Fury Whyte. Unfortunately, I can't because I'm away this weekend, but I will be watching the fight. I'll try and maybe do a video on the Monday and give you my thoughts on how it goes. But yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to do it. I might try do maybe a post-fight show in the future. We'll see how we'll just see how we get on. Patrick, so got two more questions, and then I think that's me, unless someone drops in one now, and then I'll probably finish up. But Patrick, thoughts on John Fury at the end of the press conference? Think fans seem to be going off on him. Look, I said earlier in the stream, I'm not too bothered. I understand why maybe some people would be upset about it. I think he just wants to. I don't know. Like he's just John Fury is just like this weird guy. He has some anger complex. He just wants to get involved in it, and at the end of the day, it was nothing. The good thing was Tyson Fury and Dillian White kind of stopped it, and that's the main thing. And it could have been a lot worse. Mr. MLW, sorry, just joined. What's your prediction for Fury White? Well, you can watch back the whole stream and find out, man. But I'd probably, I'm gonna go for Fury if you haven't guessed. Like most people, I think there's only been one person the whole stream tonight that said White, and I think they were joking. So we'll see what happens though. Mohammed, what is the opinion on Mike hitting that imbecile on the plane? Like I said, I think it's just a shame. I think the guy just, yeah, it's a shame. Like I think the guy was clearly trying to piss him off to get a reaction of some sort, and that's what he got. But it's just bullshit. The whole thing. I understand, why Mike got so frustrated. He's a very emotional guy, and obviously, my point of view, like the guy fucking deserves it, but it is what it is. Mike's probably going to get a lot of shit off the back of this, and that's a shame. And it's all because just some idiot was trying to get some attention, and yeah, he's probably going to be one of the most hated guys in the world now, probably. Jimbo, okay. Outrageous, man. But fair enough, man. Like I said, I've got a girlfriend. I'm happy, but I'm happy for you. Licking her. Josh, thanks for joining, man, from the Good Boxing Podcast. Thanks for joining, dude. Appreciate it. We will get Josh on again at some point. He's got some great insight. Obviously, he's coach as well, so he totally gets the boxing game, and highly recommend you sub to his channel, the Good Boxing Podcast. So go check him out. Thanks, Jimbo, man. Appreciate it, dude. Thanks for all the questions and engaging in the chat tonight. It's been good fun. Some absolutely wild questions too. And hopefully some more in the future from you too, man. Josh, Tyson Fury is a stand-up. Yep, I think he will get it. There's only one Tyson Fury. Yep, I think that will be the song they'll be singing. And I think that is almost us. And any last questions, let me know. And I'll finish up. When will the next stream be? I don't know. I'm hoping to get the guest I was talking about on. But I'm not too sure. It'll probably be the start of it'll be next week at some point, towards the end of next week, or we'll do the start of May. And Josh, who you just saw there, I'll try and get Josh back on as well at some point too. We always enjoy good boxing conversation. So yeah, guys, I think that is everything. Thanks so much for joining the stream. Really appreciate it, and hopefully you enjoyed my take on the fight and my kind of breakdown. Obviously enjoyed talking to all of you tonight. Some really good questions and predictions and thoughts on Fury versus Fight. I'll finish it off by saying this. I think Fury will win by knockout between rounds 9 and 12. Might be completely wrong. I think Dillian White will look the better guy at the start, but he will drop off and he'll start to maybe gas out towards the end, and that's when Fury will take him out. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.